So it is 5:30 p.m. and I am calling the Monday, May 24th meeting of the Ayer Board of Health to order. First topic, as usual, is public input. Do we have anyone here for general public input? No? Okay. I did promise Pauline Conley, who said that she could not, possibly could not make it in time for public input tonight, that I would raise the issue of a complaint that she has regarding the placement of the trash and the recycling barrels for the new condo apartment construction on Central Ave. I'm not quite sure the address. I think Bridget knows the address though. So I just did want to get that on record that we did have some public input in the way of an email from a resident who could not be here. And apparently the barrels are placed in a location where they're partially blocking the sidewalk. So I did discuss that with Bridget. And Bridget, do you have any further information? I think you had said that Charlie was going to look into it with, from a kind of enforcement nuisance standpoint. Did I get that right?
I talked to Charlie this morning.
Okay.
And he's actually called the builder. So
that's right, the builder. Okay.
yeah, I forget the builder's name, and I think it's 48 Central Ave, maybe.
Yeah, the number escapes me, but
I want to say 48, but I could be wrong. But Charlie did say that he spoke to the builder this morning, and I think Charlie has to follow up tomorrow with an inspection there anyway. So he's going to meet with him on site at some point and just see what they can do.
Okay, great. So there is at least just Heather, if you would just make sure that we get that in the minutes, that we had some, I don't know what you would call it, kind of absentee public input, but public input nonetheless via email. And we'll just kind of keep up to date with Bridget from meeting to meeting as to what's going on with that. Anything else for public input? Any board members? Any residents?
I don't have anything.
Fans? Fan mail from anyone? No? Okay. Well, I see that Laurie is with us. So I'll move on then to the next item on our agenda, which is this review of the solid waste trash hauler regulations. So this is an issue that we had opened, oh my gosh, it must be going back a couple of months, I think. And it was due to a request by Laurie Sabal, and Irene Congdon also joined Laurie on a Board of Health call a couple months ago, just pointing out some ways that they think that we could increase the recycling credits that the town gets by making some changes to the hauler regulations. So the way we had left that, Laurie, was I'd asked, so I went through our reg and kind of tried to put together, this kind of correlation between where I think we had things addressed. Have you taken a look at that? And do you have any input on that? Do you think that there are things that still aren't covered adequately?
I did look at it, but I just want to mention something that the main reason that, I believe that the main reason to strengthen the hauler regulations is so that more people in town will have the ability to recycle at the transfer station. Of course, if we receive more money through the Mass DEP recycling grant, that's all good.
That's good too, right?
Yeah, in my opinion, the primary issue is the first one. But anyway, Yes, I did look at the Excel spreadsheet that you sent. I also have been looking more at the hauler regulations that a couple other towns
Oh,
in
good.
our area have written. And I think from the way you break things down, I think I understand what you're trying to do and what you're trying to show here. On your spreadsheet, I think number 5, line number 5, mandatory recycling
Mhm.
is where the regulations should where the wording of the regulations
Mhm.
should be
Yeah.
made explicit. But that means that then you would be requiring the haulers to offer, not to offer, to see, requiring and offering to me
Yeah.
are two
Yeah.
different things in my head, and I don't have the language to explain that better. But the regulations from other towns do a fine job of that. Anyway, line number 5, I think needs to
Okay.
be reflected better. Line number 13F, as in Frank, haulers responsible for educating consumers about the waistbands. That certainly is something that I don't know if you would require that haulers show you any kind of educational information that they're going to be sending out to residents. But and that's not anything where they're going to have to reinvent the wheel. All of this language is available. So those were the 2 areas that I thought needed to be emphasized. The other things in line number 13 that you're pointing out are not currently being done. You're right about G, H, and I. So those are my reflections on the spreadsheet that you sent.
All right. So let me just take a note because my memory it was never good on my best day. And I'm losing it fast.
Yeah, that's an age
Okay.
thing, isn't it? Sort of, kind of.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And
It can't be
too
anything
much
else.
going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we do require the trash haulers now, part of their application package to us when they're initially permitted is kind of everything on the list, the recycling guidelines and information that they make available. Some of them, I think most of them now, and so maybe Heather, you can help me out if I'm not getting all of this quite right, but I think just about all of them do that on their websites at this point.
I have no idea what
Okay.
any of them say on their websites. That's nothing I've ever looked into. I would imagine that the websites run the gamut of good, accurate, current information to not much information and maybe even out of date.
Yeah, and it's an interesting point too that, I think about, I've used Waste Management for so long that whatever they may have given me when I first became a customer of theirs, I have no idea where it even would be. So I would have to go to their website to see current information. Is Heather, do we only require that for original permits, right? And then if there's no changes, we just keep what's in the file?
Yeah, the only thing I get on a regular basis is a customer list and the plate numbers or registration numbers for the trucks that'll be used.
Yeah. Okay.
We haven't had any new customers and new vendors in a while. We've had ones change hands, and I don't know but yeah, I everything that I get goes in the folder for the year.
Okay, but they don't typically update the recycling info for you
No.
every year, right?
No, not typically. I'd have to double, I would like double and triple check to see if any of them have done it in the 3 years that I've been doing the Board of Health.
Okay. I think
And
that was,
speaking of that part, wasn't there also discussion about annual data? That the
Yes.
haulers are
Yes,
required
they
to give you?
yep, I think it's twice a year, and they report that. It's not to us, it's to DPW, but it's in our regulation that
Mhm.
they have to report to DPW.
Okay,
So it's the volume, where it went. I think that
Okay.
might be it.
I was saying that I didn't have the language to describe what I was trying to say, but I just want to read you, it's 2 lines in the Townsend policy, which is called Rules and Regulations for Removal, Transport, and Disposal of Solid Waste or Recyclables in the Town of Townsend, January 2019. Their policy follows very closely the one that I think I sent to you, that's sort of a boilerplate
Right, like the
from
model
SDEP.
kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And section 5 is labeled mandatory recycling. And it says the Town of Townsend will inform all generators, residential and commercial, at least once per year that recycling is mandatory.
Do you have any idea how they do that? How do they, like,
Uh,
how do they
no.
actually do it? Do you know? Or it doesn't go into detail on that, right?
No, it doesn't go into any kind of detail.
Okay.
The other this was from 2019. The other relatively current towns regulations that I have are from Harvard, and they essentially say the same thing, but the mechanics of how it's actually done, I would imagine, varies from town to town.
Yeah.
But you know, that now that I'm reading that language, it says the town informs the generators. Those are
Yeah,
the residents.
those are the
and-
residents.
Yeah. So
That's what I find interesting. So,
well, now I haven't read every last word of these policies, but I think that somewhere in them, and in fact, I'm just going to do a quick search for the word mandatory, because I think
Mhm.
elsewhere the terminology is included, that the haulers are required to make this happen too, not just to offer recycling.
yes,
So-
it's in our regs as well that they have to provide information on. That's part of this information that they have to
Right.
provide, to their customers. It's an interesting point that you bring up, because our trash hauler regulations they're really targeted at the haulers, because they're the ones that we issue the permit to. So they're
Yeah.
really the only ones that we can exercise any enforcement
Right,
against,
yeah, and I
because
think-
there's,
I think that-
nothing there.
that's how it should be. It's their regulations for the trash haulers. They're not regulations for the residents or for the businesses who contract with some kind of company to pick up their trash and recycling.
Yeah, but that's where I'm wondering, and maybe you have some good ideas of, if we wanted to, because there is already in the Mass General laws, the mandatory recycling requirement that, applies to everybody that disposes of the materials that, are listed.
Right, the waistband requirements.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So what I'm thinking is, it sounds like, even though it's in the trash hauler regulation for Townsend, the town must be issuing something once a year.
That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So if that is the case, then I think just because of the way our regulation is structured, I don't know if it belongs in our reg, because it actually, for two reasons. One is that it wouldn't, it would be hard to enforce whether or not each one of the haulers is sending out information or making it available on their website as they should. Are they updating it? But if this were something done on a town-wide basis, because it does not only apply to people that use hauler services, it applies to people that use the transfer station as well, the mandatory waste ban. So I'm kind of wondering if this is something that should be handled through a different avenue than the trash hauler reg. Do you have any thoughts on that? Other board members, Bridget?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, you as well.
No, please.
Anybody with a good idea, bring it up.
Pam, so Rick from my office covers Townsend.
Yep.
I can ask him who does some of the enforcement. I think it is the administrative assistant,
Okay.
but I'm not 100% sure. But I can talk to him a little bit about it in IRA.
Okay.
I remember this is the same conversation that we had before, and the oversight on this is interesting. When we talked last time, Lori, I thought it was either you or Irene had talked about the assistant from Town Hall in Harvard was the one that was checking on this. And I was curious about that too. How do you have that person go around and check all these different apartment buildings and all these other places that have the dumpsters and things like that? And remember, Pam, we talked about how hard that would be, but I
we do always have a problem with enforcement.
right.
Because with or without COVID, we're always kind of running on the edge of, having enough staffing to cover, checkups and enforcement.
But I'd be curious.
For any of our regs.
I would be curious to see what other towns, how they are doing it and how they are.
Yeah, I'd be curious too.
I think,
Well,
I used to live in Townsend, and I want to say that the recycling center was free to all residents. That's not the case in majority of towns. Like I live in Pepperell now, and it would cost me $90 to just recycle my stuff. So living in an apartment, it ends up being an issue. So I think that'd be another avenue to look at, is to see about doing that in the transfer station, because that would probably help a little bit. Because if the resident has to pay extra, especially living in an apartment building, for recycling, the odds of them doing that are going to be slim to none. They got to bring it all the way to the transfer station.
Right. And that's why having recycling at the
Yes.
the condo complexes and the apartment complexes is, in my opinion, the way to go.
Yep.
But the responsibility for that would lie on the trash haulers setting up different receptacles and signage and all of that, correct?
Yeah, I would guess so. I don't know who else.
So that would be
some kind of partnership between the haulers and the property managers, depending on the size of the complexes.
Right.
Yeah. And that is one of the conditions to get a permit for Ayer, is that you do have to also offer, whoever takes away trash also has to offer recycling.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not just if you say you want a recycling bin, there's supposed to be one given to everyone. I think what you're going after is a good thing. I just want to make sure that it ends up in the place where it's going to get the right attention and enforcement, not kind of buried in a rag that everybody, oh, that's just the things the trash haulers have to do. So maybe, Bridget, if you could kind of ask around, maybe what do your other towns do? I mean, I could see if we could work out some sort of arrangement, say with town clerk, to, when the census goes out, include something about recycling and the waistband, and kind of reminding people at least once a year, like Townsend does.
Well,
just making,
we do
pardon me.
that to a certain extent, or we have in the past. We 1 year, not that long ago, we did a postcard that went to all mailboxes
Okay.
through the DPW. There is information on the Ayer website, in
Yeah.
the transfer station section of the Ayer website about this stuff too. Obviously, that's not something that everybody's going to receive if they're not looking around on the web for this information.
exactly, yeah.
Well, the thing that the reason that I originally came to you guys, it's been 2 or 3 years now, is that I thought there was a contradiction in the current regulations. In one section, it says that recycling is required.
Right.
Your words.
Yeah.
And in another section, it says that haulers should offer recycling. And that's a contradiction that my brain can't.
Yeah, that would be a contradiction.
Process.
Does it actually say should provide?
Yeah, it's, I think you cited 4.4 and 6.1.
Is it
Bullets.
4.4?
Or
Yeah,
was that the-
4.4. 4.4 haulers shall provide customers with the option of recycling. 6.1 bullet
Gotcha.
7 written educational materials to notify residents that recycling is required to comply with the waistbands.
Okay.
So to me, it should be one or another. That's me.
Yeah, the intent actually was that they need to offer recycling in addition to trash. You can't offer just trash in Ayer. You also have to couple that with recycling. So it might then be a matter of changing wording. And, you know, a should to a must or to a shall that's not such a big change that, you know, it would have to do public hearing and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, in language, it's not a big change, but in intent,
Yeah.
it's a huge change. So I know that last time I talked to you, we looked at a list on the Ayer website of all of the haulers, and it was a big, long list, but I believe Heather said in reality, those are the haulers that requested a permit. They might not actually be working in Ayer. Am I correct about that, Heather?
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't live in town. I don't drive around and see all the different trash people that pick up. But on average, yeah, we get about, I don't know, 12 or 13. And it's just, they're all permitted to haul trash in town, whether they all do or not. That's not something that we follow.
And we don't have any way of finding out who actually is
Well,
working.
they give us
in
customer
town?
lists, but I mean, those can
Yeah.
always change. And I don't know if, I mean,
Yeah, all we know is that those are the ones that we have issued a permit to because they've provided us the application and all of the required information. Some of them, just because of the way routes are cut up, that they may have a route that only includes a few houses in Ayer. And I think if I remember correctly, when we did this regulation, there are also some that are really more like commercial dumpster services that you know, they don't do a lot of residential. So.
There are 11 listed currently on the website, and some of them are the big names, people
Yep.
we've all heard of, Harvey and Waste Management. Would it be, can I volunteer to call all these people and ask them if they actually have
Absolutely.
recycling bins?
I've got an idea, Pam and
Yep.
Lori.
Okay.
When is the last time we updated our file information on the haulers that are registered in the town of Ayer? Have we ever done that?
Yeah, every year, because the permits are a yearly thing.
The permits may be yearly, but have we updated the information in terms of the company? Do we know what their application looks like when someone registers with them?
Hmm.
Why don't we take a look? If there's 10 of them, send out one email with 10 and ask them for updated company information for our file. And you can ask them any questions you want. Do you offer recycling? And let's do that before we jump to conclusions. But I think
Yeah.
we should update.
Yeah.
The file on an annual basis. And I'm sure Heather has, questions that she could ask them to respond to. And let's just update the file and see if they're saying, recycling is mandatory or recycling is an option.
Mhm.
And then we can
Yeah.
kind of go from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah,
perfect
it
sense to
does.
me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that would be a good place to start. And then we can make a determination if we need to make changes in language
Mhm.
or make changes in haulers in the town of Ayer. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So
that's-
I'm just going through now as we're talking. I'm on the town website. And
Yeah.
again, I'm just going through quickly. And the list that we have on the town website, the links are there for all of these trash haulers.
Mhm.
And it looks like they all offer recycling. The only ones, there's one I don't have a link for, but there's some that do the big, large dumpsters, like when somebody moves and they come to your house. They
Right.
might not necessarily offer them, but
Right.
if you click, I'm almost done through all of them now, but it looks like pretty much everyone does offer. The only one I can't see is M. Sullivan and Son Disposal. And then, like I said, there's a couple D&D waste removal. Those look like they're the big dumpsters.
Yeah, I think
Actually,
they
no,
are. Yeah.
But aren't the
I'm sorry.
haulers required to recycle, even if they have a single dumpster that everything is
Mhm.
put into, they're required to separate the waste.
Yes.
I don't think that that's an option for the haulers. So whether or
No.
not the individual puts a washing machine in with the roof shingles, they still have to take the washing machine out and the shingles still have to go. So that's going to happen. But I think updating the information is a good way to start with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think that now you'll think I'm crazy. So let me just start with saying that I'm concerned about what the definition of the word offer is. Like Bill
I
Clinton said,
understand.
what's the definition
Well,
of the word is?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So offer can be passive. Offer can be, well, if you want it, we'll do it. Or it could be
Yeah.
something more firm and more strong. So I'm just being hesitant
That makes sense.
about that.
I understand where you're coming from there.
But I do totally agree with Steve that some kind of outreach to the individual companies to ask them what's going on is a reasonable way to start. So then the board would have information, and then you decide what your next steps are based on information.
No, I think
Yeah.
that's a great way to start too, Steve, but also in the meantime, getting copies of the surrounding towns and their
Oh,
rates,
sure.
just to compare, see what their language is. And if they're using terms like mandatory and things like that, I'm curious to see how they're implementing it.
Sure. I think it's a good idea.
You want me to do that part?
What the surrounding towns, is that something that they can just get off the, if you want to, Lori, is that?
I don't mind.
Is
We
that
already
okay?
That
have
would be
Harvard,
awesome. We
and
love
we have-
volunteers.
well, I don't know if you know, I'm actually retiring from the recycling committee at the end of May.
I heard.
Oh
yes.
my gosh,
but
really?
I am committed to following through with this project, however long it takes. Hopefully not too much longer.
Oh my gosh, that would be like Lori Nealing leaving Pace. It's like,
I know.
you are the recycling. Who else do you think of but you?
Thank you. I guess that's a compliment, or it's just a statement of fact. I get it.
is.
But anyway, we already have Harvard and Tingsboro, and I have enough connections in, not Tingsboro, Townsend, I'm sorry, in the other local towns that I can put these together. I can highlight the language in that particular section and then forward those, I would assume, to Heather to pass out
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
committee, to the board.
All right.
Okay.
That sounds like a plan. That would be great.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I'll take another look at this offer, versus some other wording. I think, and this really taxes my memory. And I'm realizing too, as I see my little picture thing, that I can't call you crazy because I'm sitting here with a propeller on my head. Which is, just for the record, a ceiling fan. But I'm just realizing how ridiculous it was. But I believe that the offer language stemmed from the fact that we didn't want to make any requirement related to cost. So it didn't have to be at the same price as, or for no additional charge.
Right.
So it has to be a bundled service, but they
Mhm.
can charge an extra fee for recycling if they
Mhm.
want to. But that's all it was really intended to do, was to kind of get around that issue. So I'm sure there is some other wording
Mhm.
options we could look at that would hit the point a little bit better.
Yep.
Okay, great. I will look into that. How about for kind of updating information, because we already have a link to their sites on Ayer's Board of Health webpage, I think it would be kind of a good idea to do first pass, clicking those links and pulling what we can, just to kind of make sure that it's really there. It hasn't gotten lost in the, and then we could follow up with surveys or calls or whatever we'd like to do to the haulers to find out, how do you get that information out there? Does it just get on your website where nobody sees it, or how do you go out of your way to make sure people know about it? So if Heather, I know you got a lot cooking right now, but if you could just kind of maybe chip away at taking that list and clicking on the websites, download just whatever information they have, particularly regarding recycling. But I would take anything else too, especially if they have info on like rates, and are there different rates if there's going to be recycling.
Heather, I'm happy to help you with that part too. One thing I am thinking of, and I will be very brief, and I'm sorry, Pam, because I sort of interrupted you.
That's okay.
But while it's still in my brain,
yeah, I know.
The information from the websites is helpful, but I think that the primary or one of the primary concerns that we have that we're trying to address is, are they offering recycling at the multifamily housing?
Yeah.
And are the websites going to get into that kind of detail? I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no.
Yeah.
But so just another factor.
That's a really good question. And maybe, Bridget, when you talk to Ira or other people in your office, you could kind of see what other towns that have rentals do for that, because I can see where the link would get broken. Probably the landlord contracts with the trash hauler. So anything that the trash hauler sends out is going to go to the landlord, not necessarily to the tenants.
Yes,
Whereas-
I can call and talk to Carla tomorrow. I think she's very active in Townsend and
She is.
try and get some more information from her. I mean, it's a very good question because I feel like when I drive around, I see wherever there's a trash container, I always feel like I see a recycling one with them. But I can't say that for the apartment buildings, for sure.
Right, yeah.
And I think part of that is visually, those dumpsters are usually out of sight. So
True.
I
That's
can
true.
check with her tomorrow. And I can
Yeah.
also check with Kayleen and Pepperell. I don't know if they have trash hauler regulations, but I do know they have quite a few apartment complexes as well. So,
Okay, good. Do they also have a mix of like transfer station versus, like, they don't have town-wide pickup, do they?
Pepperell does not now.
Okay, good. Okay.
Neither does Littleton. So Littleton would be another one to look at.
okay.
Littleton doesn't? That's
No,
surprising.
that's transfer station. And then in there, you have to pay for a sticker and pay for a per bag. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Shirley does,
Oh.
don't they? Shirley has,
Shirley has,
Shirley had, yeah, you used to, I don't know what they, when I lived there, it was you had to pay per bag. And then I think they changed it, gave everybody their own town dumpsters, barrels, but.
So,
yeah,
and
they
yeah,
do.
I know in
Yeah.
Dunstable, we have town trash pickup here. They closed the transfer station. But we don't have any, we don't have any apartment buildings, but I can check the local, there are some businesses with a bigger dumpster, so I can look into that. But it's a
Okay.
good question.
yeah, these are all good questions that you raise. I'm happy that you brought this to the board because it
So-
is an important issue.
So how, what is the time frame you think, Pam, to reconvene on this information once we hear back from Heather and Lori? And as Steve said, emailing them, the trash haulers, what do you think is a good amount of time to compile all of
Yeah.
this?
I'm thinking probably not for next meeting, because there's a lot of footwork involved, but
Right.
maybe the meeting after that, we could kind of assess it, see how it's going, and if, shoot for 4 weeks from tonight. And if we can get everything together, at least enough together to have a good discussion, even if there's still some outstanding items, then I would say we should put it on the agenda again for then.
Okay. So we'll just wait to hear back from the trash haulers and the other towns.
Yeah, and I think if we just share information with one another, like I really want to look into that language issue, so I'll
Yeah.
look at that again and see if maybe by intentionally trying to not say one thing, we accidentally may have said another. So
Okay.
I'll send everybody an email on that one too, with
Okay.
what my take on that is.
All right.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lori. Any
Good
parting
discussion.
words for us, or
Thank you. I
we'll
will,
keep you in the
I'm
loop?
sorry. Say that again.
Any parting words, anything important left unsaid?
My parting words are, as my high school art teacher always said, you're a grand group. And he meant it. And he was an awesome teacher.
Oh,
I know
that's
you're doing a great job. You have a ton of things going on. Hopefully COVID will be taking a
funny.
back seat at some point. But I will do my work, and I will get back to you via Heather.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lori.
Greatly
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Take care.
Okay,
Bye.
have a good evening.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that sounds like a plan. We'll see
Yeah.
if we're able to get that up and running in 4 weeks for the next discussion. Anything with COVID, Bridget, any new news? Good or bad? Hopefully good.
No, things are trending in the right direction. As of May 29th, yeah, I think that's, yeah, May 29th, everything is, the mask order, I believe, is out except for certain places, healthcare settings, buses, trains, cars, the schools during, while the kids are inside.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's all good news. All that information is up on the mass.gov website. So we're sort of transitioning out of COVID.
Yeah.
And like I said, the numbers are good. We were able to get the Pfizer vaccine, and they set up a clinic pretty quickly for this Wednesday at Devon's again. And so far, I think it will be much better attended than the last two. I think a lot of people are going to bring their kids, so that's good.
Good.
So we're heading in the right direction.
That's fantastic.
Great.
Just in time for boosters, huh?
I know.
That's
That's what everyone keeps asking. When's the booster? I'm like, I don't know.
Well, the one question that I have been asked that I need to check with you, because I don't know the answer, is now that this information is out there, that on a state level, that this is not required, can individual businesses still require you to wear a mask
Yes.
inside their place of business?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it's more masks aren't forbidden, they're just no longer absolutely required.
Yes. It is my understanding that individual businesses can have their own requirements, but
Okay.
it's not something that would be enforced by us.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Unless it's, like I said, it's the hospital settings, places like the schools when the kids are inside but not outside. Again, DESE is, there's some stuff in there for the educational component of it. There's also another organization, I forget that the name of it, but there's some things like pools that fall under that. And they will
Okay.
have some requirements as well for like outdoor pools. And I'm assuming it's outdoor public pools.
Yeah.
So there are a few other things. And then for camps, there's some other, requirements that will be in effect. But as far as the restaurants and businesses and things like that, the mask order is over.
Okay.
Got it. Well, it's one step closer to being back to normal, if normal still exists.
I know, it feels so weird.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Um,
It feels strangely naked without a mask, and it felt so funny to put one on in the beginning. Now it's gone completely the other way for me.
I know, it's just, and it's a transition, and there are people that still are on the fence about the vaccine for whatever reasons,
Yeah.
whether it be personal or medical. So again, there's a lot of personal choices that need to be made, and I figure in the beginning anyway, you'll probably see masks for a while. But again, it's in most cases it will be voluntary unless you're in those situations where you're
Yeah.
traveling or in a medical environment, hospital, nursing home, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Got it. And I have seen a couple of reports lately, I would say over the past week or so, that there are some studies coming out showing that people that were immunocompromised for whatever reason, when they got their vaccine, they're not really producing a very good antibody response. So I guess another reason that you may want to be a little extra careful if you're taking any immunosuppressing drugs or have any medical conditions, you might just want to
Yeah.
be a little more careful than,
Well, it's funny too, right now we're in peak allergy season and
yeah.
I find that with the mask, my allergies are much better.
Yes, they
weird when
are.
When I'm out and I take it off,
Yeah,
it's much harder for me to breathe.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
just, but again, it's just, we'll probably see them for a while.
Yeah, yeah, I think we will. And I wouldn't be surprised if when cold and flu, season comes, even if there is no new COVID threat, that, we may go the way of some Asian countries where you see people that when they're sick or when they really want to not get sick, they'll
Right.
wear a mask
Right.
in public. So,
But the numbers are really heading in the right direction and that's good. And I think that, overall, everyone is just, I think, happy and they're dealing with everything as it comes. So that's good.
good. Good news. Thanks for the good work. How about
Thank
any
you.
other Neshoba materials? What you been doing for fun? Who you been inspecting?
So, this is awful. I feel silly, but I'm sitting here trying to remember what I did this afternoon. I'm like, where was I?
Oh God,
Um,
yeah, I know.
So it's awful. I did have a housing last week.
Okay,
That certified letter will be going out. It was on Washington Street. I did the inspection of Neshoba Park and I think Kayleen did the inspection of Wendy's. Those were the newest one last week. I think I told you I did Devon's Pizza and
yeah,
God, I can't think. This is awful. But other than that, just it's been a lot of phone calls regarding COVID, what's happening, how to transition, and just working with businesses through that because some of it is confusing to them.
yeah.
But for the most part, it's just nothing major.
Okay.
We are
good.
starting to see overall, though, an increase in housing inspections
Yeah,
throughout the area. So I think that was to be expected as things sort
yeah,
of wound down with COVID. But
yeah.
that's
True.
it.
All right, good. That's one place where no new styling news is good news.
That's good news.
Okay, so I'm not sure if I needed to announce this at the beginning of the meeting, but I'll announce it now that we don't have the draft minutes ready to review for May 10th. So I'm just gonna strike that one off the agenda. But we do have, and this was postponed from last time because we just we ran way over time, I think. So about the minutes of March 22nd. I have taken a look at those and I think that they look okay.
They do.
Okay,
Make a
Steve,
motion.
I'm good with them.
good. Okay, somebody make a motion.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from March 22nd Air Board of Health meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, great. Then I will sign that and I guess we'll just all sign our copies and send them to Heather, right? That's
Okay.
what we've been doing, so. All right, great. So administrative matters, animal permits. I know that you said, Heather, you're, sending out some second notices. And so I assume you're kind of life as usual this time of year. You're getting in the applications and chasing people.
I sent the first round out and I only got, was it the 6 or 7 that I had sent you? So they're actually really slow coming in and I'm not sure why. Usually I get a whole bunch at once. It seems to be very slow that I had to send out second notices to get majority, like half of them back.
Okay.
I was hoping to get that done tomorrow. I just got my first COVID shot today, so we'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. But
Congratulations.
thank you. So hopefully I can get that in to get those done
Okay.
with the long day. That'd be the best way to get that stuff done, because fortunately with all the departments I do, I've been flat out for the last 2.5 months.
Yeah, I know. All right, if you have any that need to be signed that you want to send over, you can, or if you want to kind of batch them, see what comes in over the next couple of days, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that just it's easier. That way I get the deposit all done, get them all done at once. If I'm afraid if I do one here and one there, I'm gonna forget which ones I've done. So just
Yeah.
easier to compile them for the week, get them all done for you, send them out, and then be done for the week on those. So we'll
We don't
that.
want any more rogue permits out there. That's that's not the way.
The only
we
way I
wanna
can
go.
keep everything straight.
Yeah, okay, I'm all for that. Anything with mail or bills?
Nope, nothing's really been coming in, just the normal insurance notices that come to the
Yeah.
building department and to you, and death certificates, the cremation. That's about it.
Okay,
I think the newest one that came in though was the mosquito control, but it also goes into the clerk, so she made sure that got posted
Yeah.
to the website.
okay, great. All right.
I have a question, Pam.
Yes,
I have
of
a quick
course.
question, because I feel like Lori, if I don't ask, it'll be gone.
Yeah.
When, and Bridget might know the answer to this, when are we going to resume meetings in person at Town Hall? Is there a,
So, funny you asked that. There could, as long as the state of emergency was in effect, that was what was triggering the Zoom meetings. And the state of emergency is ending June 15th. So I believe towns are transitioning into the back to the reality of in-person meetings. However, some people actually like the Zoom platform and are trying to find ways to keep that going. So I think the board itself will be meeting in person, I think starting after June 15th.
Okay,
And then there might be a mechanism in the future to allow participation for participants via Zoom, but I'm not, again, I'm
oh,
not,
okay,
this
all
is just
right.
stuff we're hearing word of mouth. It's coming from town councils and,
Yeah.
just other towns. And I just call it the chatter. But I think as far as the boards go, the in-person piece for the board will start after the 15th.
and we
Okay.
meet when we meet the 14th, so.
Yeah, so it would be the one
Yeah,
after that. And again, that was the reason
Okay.
that it went to Zoom was because of the state of emergency. And I believe it had something to do with the open meeting law. I could be wrong on that.
yeah.
Again, once that went away. And so I hope that answers your question, but yeah, on June 15th, we should start.
Okay, thank you.
Good. So we can get a really fresh update on the 14th at our meeting.
Right.
One quick thing before we get, well, I guess this kind of is an action item. I neglected to put on the agenda for tonight to vote if we want to reorganize the board, and if so, how, which we traditionally do after each election. So we're not going to do that tonight, but I will make sure, Heather, if I don't, please remember to put it on, that we will talk about reorganizing the board. And yeah, I'm ready to take a year off. So I suggest you two think about whether you're gonna duke it out over this.
Not gonna duke it out
Yeah, I don't think so.
at all. At all.
All right. And then the other thing that I did just want to mention, because I see we're, oh my God, we're tantalizingly close to finishing on time. That Steve was on a really cool little expedition for the last couple of weeks. And I wanted him to tell us and, people in the town a little bit about that. But I don't want to give you only 6 minutes, Steve. So
How about if I do something a little bit with more thought at the next meeting? How would that be?
yes, that's
Okay.
exactly what I was getting
Ju-
around to. Rather
just-
than
I've been a member of a team called the Disaster Medical Assistance Team. And there's about 50 of these teams around the country. And I'll go into more detail later, but we're organized under Health and Human Services, and we're considered intermittent federal employees. So if we get sent somewhere, we are federal employees. We generally do hurricanes, natural disasters and things like that, setting up medical services. But rather than bore people, I'll go into the detail at the next meeting. How's that? Is that okay?
Nice. That
'Cause
was
I did it.
California?
I'll tell you.
oh,
about
you got to tell him
California.
where you were. That's the best part.
Oh, okay, because
Yeah.
the last I heard, he was in California. It's
No,
like, where's
Oh,
Trish-
no, this is
Waldo?
way
This-
better.
This
Okay.
was Washington, DC, and we got asked if we would vaccinate the employees of the Smithsonian Museum. And we set up a vaccination clinic in the rotunda of the National Museum of Natural History. And if you've ever been there, there's a huge elephant. So we were vaccinating people under the huge elephant. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was there a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
Very
my sister said to me, "Oh, is the government trying to reach herd immunity?" And I thought to myself,
Oh.
"Wow, that's a good line." But it was a great experience, and I'll try to get some pictures as well. But it was an awesome experience.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Nice.
just, it's something that I didn't even know existed
Yeah.
until, you ended up on the board. So I just think it's worth a little discussion because it's number one, a really cool thing. And number two, it's, that kind of goes to our mission
Yeah.
of educating
It
the
does.
public about public
Yeah.
health.
But I'd be happy to talk more about it. How's that at the next one? I got
Okay.
something I did want to bring up though.
Well, by all means, bring it up.
I think that there's two things, and I don't want to take up a lot of time, but I'd like to see a call log of calls that are coming in for the Board of Health. And I don't want anything fancy, something electronic that would, have the date, the person that called, contact, either a phone number or an email, what they called about, 1 or 2 words, and what we did about it. That we could share with the board members and Bridget so that we're kind of informed about what's going on. And if if someone asks us a question, we can say, sure, we understand, and this is what's going on or whatever. I just think it would make all of us better informed. And again, I'm looking for Heather to come up with something that she thinks, I mean, I'd be happy to do it, but something that she thinks would be reasonable that could be emailed to us maybe on Monday morning or something.
Yes,
And again, I'm open for any suggestions.
I have no problem doing that. The Board of Health, especially now that vaccines are more readily available, the phone calls have slowed down quite a bit.
Sure, sure.
It's not insane as some of the other phone calls I get
Yep.
answered in a day. So that's something I could definitely
Sure.
do. I would just need to know on how often you want it. If something you want every Friday afternoon, the Friday before
I'm-
meetings to discuss, or just a regular time you'd want that. But yeah, I can make a spreadsheet up pretty easily for that.
I was thinking maybe a Monday morning thing, but Monday, if that's not bad for you, or maybe every other week even. Maybe whatever you suggest, and then we can work from there. How would that be?
That's fine.
Like
works fine.
maybe every other Monday morning, it will go to us, and then we can take a look at it. At least we'll stay informed to what's going on rather than just waiting for the meeting. I think
That's a
will
good idea.
probably make us
Yeah.
more productive at the meeting too.
Yeah,
Is that
I
okay?
like that idea.
Okay. The other
Let's
thing
do
that
it.
I have, and I have no idea how to do this, but after what happened at our last meeting,
Oh, gee.
I think someone from the board needs to see anything that goes out with our name signed to it. And I don't even know what I'm asking. And I mentioned this to Pam, but I think there needs to be a control mechanism that if a license is going out, unless it's an emergency, that it should either be circulated to the board or to the chairman or whatever. But I think we'd all agree that what happened was an absolute accident and it may never happen again.
Yeah.
But I think as a control, we should see what we have our name pinned to. So, we can talk about this at the next meeting if you want, Pam. I firmly believe there's going to be some mechanism, and maybe being back in person will be that mechanism. But
Yeah.
I'd like to see that nothing gets sent out that is official compendia that is, from the Board of Health. And I'm not talking about Heather asking for animal permits. That's not my,
Yeah.
I'm talking licenses and
Yeah.
correspondence that have repercussions.
Yeah. And I think it made me stop and think about how it's interesting that some things require signatures and some things don't. So I think it is probably a larger discussion. And, Bridget, if Heather knows from her end the things that actually come out from the board at town hall, what things get signed. On your end, I don't want to put you on the spot to answer this now, but maybe next week we can talk about, so what would those licenses or permits be? And
so I put a list together today.
Ooh, okay.
If you want, I can go through it quickly.
Yeah, sure.
So there's the septic permits that we issue, but you sign those in person.
Yeah.
And then we issue the well permit, but it doesn't, so any well permits that go out, we issue, those don't really have names on it. It's just a permit for a private well.
Okay.
There's really nothing in Ayer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we issue the bottling licenses, which we're directed by the state to issue. So once the state issues them, then we issue, or once the state gives us the okay, then we issue the license.
Okay.
I think Epic and CPF are the only ones in Ayer for those. Kayleen does the pool inspections and she issues the permits for those. There are a few permits for pools in Ayer.
Okay.
There's just one at the Rotary across from Wendy's. There's a pool there, semi-public pool. And then we issue, so then there's the food permits, which includes the temporary food permits, the mobile food permits. And then we also issue the, I'm trying to think, I think there's one more, the hotel motel. And the frozen dessert licenses.
The food permits, that's only, you're only talking about the ones like for temporary and stuff, right? Because that's not a common vic license.
Nope. So the common vic is issued through the selectman's office. We issue the food permits. And I don't, that specifically doesn't have names on it. I think it just says the Board of Health, not even the town. They're issued through our computer system.
Yeah, because it seems like.
And then the milk licenses, I'm sorry.
Oh, milk, okay.
But I mean, that supposed license that Attorney Willie held up and showed us last week, that was valid. It had the letterhead, but it didn't have any place for anyone to sign it. I thought it was kind of odd.
So on the permits like that, I believe that license and the pool license are the same. It will just have the board members for the town's name on them. And I can find out why. I mean, we used to have these books that were issued. I forget what company that we bought them from, but the motels it was a special book with a permit attached. So we were just, it looked more professional. I think that company went out of business.
I
So-
gotcha.
I'd
Yeah.
just like to see something that a member of the board sees what it is that we are approving. That's all. And again, I don't know what the answer is, and we're kind of running out of time, I think, Pam.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I'd like to have some type of control mechanism in
Okay.
place, you know?
Let's talk about it then a little bit more next time. Maybe Bridget, if you could find out of those things, which ones already require somebody to sign.
Yep.
Because that, I
The-
think that's what was weird about it, was that
Yeah.
it just seemed strange that there was no signature on it. But then the temporary one didn't have signatures either. That just had the name. So I know that's
Right.
the actual practice.
Yeah, I can actually print out copies of examples, just so that you have that.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like a plan. So I would say then for action items for next week, we definitely want to talk about board reorganization. I would say let's kind of revisit this issue of licenses and permits and copies, getting copies of them. And whether or not they should be signed. And what else did I jot down here as a note? Oh, and animal permits. Let's get a, count on where we are, because they are only good through May 31st, right? So I think that's
The 31st, yeah.
yeah, okay. All right, so let's get the animal permit scofflaw list next time too. And that's all I have that seems urgent. I don't know if we're really going to have, I wouldn't call it a review of solid waste, but if we just want to check in on the status of how are we doing gathering our information, we could possibly put that on as well.
Okay.
So just a status update. Okay, that sounds good. Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Awesome. Anything, Steve?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
And I'm doing my part for COVID by being outside. So I'm,
Yeah, I know. You're living the life there. And I'm sitting here with a propeller on my head. Great. On that note, then, anyone in the mood to make a motion?
so moved that we adjourn.
Second. Trish,
Aye,
are you waving to second?
I'm seconded.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 6:37. We are
Close.
adjourned.